and welcome to Daily Cricket presents CrickTalk. With me, Mohammad Isam, is Atif Azam. Atif Azam is the Bangladesh correspondent of CrickBuzz. I am the Bangladesh correspondent of CrickInfo. We are at Atif Bhai's studio recording this CrickTalk episode. We apologize for our irregularity in the last few weeks. We've been very busy with the BPL covering all these matches. We've been trying to shoot this episode for a while, but almost every day we have had something to follow, some news to follow. But here we are, one day before the BPL final. BPL final is between Fortune Borishal and Chittagong Kings. Huge surprise, Atif Bhai, the BPL final lineup for you?
Yeah, I was always thinking that Borishal would go into the final, considering the team strength they possess as a team. But Chittagong is a surprising element because Chittagong did not have, and when most teams were bringing in big names, they opted to stay with their own players and went to the final. But still, they won a very good match yesterday in the qualifier for the final. So, yeah, it's but the way they won the last game, I don't think that Fortune Bushel will just walk away in the final.
Yeah, it won't be a one-sided final from what I can gather. Fortune Borishal, you mentioned, is the defending champions, led by Tamim Iqbal. They made a very good team last season and they have followed it up with some very good performances. Maybe they didn't start that well, but then they caught up and they comfortably made it to the final. Very strong team on paper, very strong team now performing with David Malan and Tohid Hriday also scoring runs in the first qualifier, and they've got a very good bowling attack too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Their bowling attack is very good. And with the batting they have, they're the clear favourites to win the... But in T20 cricket, it's what happens on that day, on that particular day that matters. Because even yesterday, when Alice went out,
right,
I thought the game is all but over. But he just did the magic after coming back. So you don't know what can really happen in a T20 game. But I think that Chittagong also regrouped very late. Initially, they lost quite a few matches, then they got back into the group. So it was a very interesting final, I hope.
Yeah, BPL finals are not known to be very interesting. They've been won once, I think, when Kumilla won their first title under Mashrafi. That was a great final. But we have usually seen one-sided events with a lot more focus on what's going to happen after the final and all the controversies. We're going to go to the controversies regarding BPL, but we'll stick to the cricket for now. Atif Bhai, second qualifier, Khulna, where, well, almost they batted very poorly at the start, 16 overs for 94 runs, and then Shimron Hetmeyer and Mahidul Islam Onkon, and then Holder and Nawaz also. But it was mainly Hetmeyer and Onkon who batted very well. You thought 163 was still enough?
I thought that the wicket was not a wicket to score runs. The ball, in fact, if you see, Isham, I don't know whether you'll agree with me, initially in the first phase, the Dhaka wicket was very good. Yeah. But when in the last phase, it again goes back to a traditional wicket. It's not a 200 wicket anymore. It's 170, 180 is a good score here. I think that what happened is that throughout the tournament, Khulna has tried one player for a long time. That is Afif Hossain, and he failed miserably. True, if you see, so Afif really hurt. Khulna, Afif really hurt them. And yes, in the last, before this qualifier, the main attack was Nasum. It was a bit all Nasum-centered attack. Isn't it? Even when they won against Rangpur, it was on the Nasum shows. Or whenever they were winning, even if Nasum was not scoring, picking wickets, he was just squeezing the runs. Yeah. So they did not have the bowling attack. The bowling attack that good. Because, and I don't know why, though he said in the press conference that Holder gave away 610 runs. But Isham, when you're a captain, you must value the experience. He might have gone for 10 runs, but when you are a captain, you must value the experience. Because Mushfiq Hassan just lost it after that shot. Yeah. When he got hit by Sunny, that's when he got mentally collapsed. It happens to a bowler who is just learning the trade. Probably next time and the before that over, Hassan Mahmood did a miraculous over. But still, I think that in the qualifier, I felt bad for Talha because he's trying with this, sticking with, and they have developed a core team. If you see, one team that has developed, they don't have a very big hype, they don't have very big social media followers, but they stick to a very core group of players. Khulna is trying to have these players for a long time, for 2-3 years, I guess, some of them. So they are developing into a franchise, into proper franchise, what I feel.
Adib bhai, Khulna's failure yesterday was a little surprising to me. I mean, they did very well against Rangpur and they used their spinners well, and Naeem was in form. But the way they approached their innings was, as you said, Afif based their batting, but then Naeem did well.
Beautiful. I think that Naeem was amazing in this tournament. He was amazing.
Not just the tournament, bhai. From the NCL T20,
Yes,
from
he is
NCL
amazing.
first class, he's been scoring runs, and it seems like he's added a lot of shots to his repertoire, and he's very confident as a batter. Then
Because
you have,
Isham, would you agree that if today you have to change one player for the Champions Trophy in the opening slot, then Naeem would be the one who would go on merit.
yeah, truly, he's in good form.
He's in damn good form.
Khulna's batting then became too dependent on Shimron Hetmeyer, and they was just waiting for him to get set, waiting for him to get. So he got only 4 overs to do his magic, and then with the ball again, as you mentioned, Nasum made the difference. I think that's where Chittagong, being led by someone like Mithun, knows domestic cricket, knows Bangladesh cricket very well. Sunny, Mithun, you have Enam in the dugout. So they waited for Nasum to finish. They waited for Shimron. They pushed Shimron right down to the 17th over. Say Shimron Hetmeyer got 1 extra over, they would score 200. 20-25 runs in that over. So I think Chittagong, it looks like a very weak team on paper, but
It's a smart team.
it's a smart team. I mean, no, I wouldn't call it a smart team, not a smart 11. When you have Khaled batting at number 7, it's not a smart 11. But I think it's a team where you have a lot of opportunities. You have, there are no all-rounders in this team. So you have to wait for the top 6 to do their batting and then someone to take the tail through. So luckily, I think Alice and Sunny batted very well. I think Mithun probably gave up when he got out. Like he thought that this was not going to happen. I'm sure he didn't envision Alice doing his thing. But that's the thing about Chittagong this season. They've surprised a lot. 4 scores of 200 plus. They've got centurions, Usman Khan, Graham Clark. Graham Clark had a very unfortunate incident yesterday, getting hit on the nose, and then not really in the batting groove. Parvez also not scoring runs. I think those were big misses. I think they can't really afford that in the final against a team like Fortune Borishal. Fortune Borishal will grab their catches. Half chances will be converted. So you can't really take those chances. But if they can stick till the end, you never know what might happen. Just to go a little bit deeper on Fortune Borishal, you mentioned how Khulna has a core. Borishal's owner, Mizanur Rahman, has said that if the BPL is not cleaned up, he's not going to come back. It's a very crucial year next year for BPL because I think they have a 5-year contract coming up. You think teams like Khulna, Borishal are going to come back?
I think Khulna will come back if there's a BPL again. As far as Borishal is concerned, Mizanur Rahman, if I'm knowing his financial stability and strength, so he needs to regroup his financial strength. Because this year, he had gone on board, and because he became the champion, he just didn't want to lose the magic. Sometimes it pushes people to do, but he cannot, no franchisee can run this way. So
Run this way as in without
having a proper business structure. Just no, but that's a very, in Bangladesh context, revenue is very small, so the sharing will be even smaller. I mean, they've got to get something, but Mizanur Rahman, he also mentioned in somewhere that he's not happy with the total what's going on with him. He feels ashamed, all these non-payment issues and all these things. So Borishal will be coming up. If they come up, they will be, because any team would like to take the advantage of 5 years contract. So Borishal would likely be coming up, but like Borishal, many other teams also want to have a clean BPL.
like Rangpur Riders, I'm sure, the biggest owner of a franchise in this BPL, if you say, they are GSL champions, but unfortunately they lost in the eliminator. I think that wouldn't hurt them so much. I think you would be able to tell us whether Rangpur Riders would be more motivated to come back next year, because I think they're going to play the GSL in July.
Rangpur would be motivated. Rangpur would be motivated. It is their passion. I mean, for them, seeing them very closely, cricket is not just business for them. Cricket is more than a game for them. You know that team director Shanian. I can just mention him. One thing about him is that he did not go to his house for 2.5 months. He didn't sleep in his house. I mean, he went to his house, but he didn't sleep in his house for 2.5 months. That I know for sure. Because when he lost that match in the eliminator, he was literally crying and saying that I have stayed with this team for the last 2.5 months just to. So, and they have I think that they have some personal feeling for them, for the team. Some of them have very personal, they take this, because they bring in these kind of players. But I don't think that they have made a good choice by bringing all those players and without giving a proper rest trying to eliminate. Because I firmly believe that Rangpur have lost the match because of Iftikhar. Not playing Iftikhar. Because you can't drop Iftikhar. That was a match where Iftikhar could have played a vital role. And Iftikhar scored runs. I don't know, because they probably got into that, all those what will be said in the Facebooks, what will be said written in the media, that they bought players with so much money and they're keeping him in the bench and all these things. But they should have at least tried Iftikhar, if not anyone else. And they missed another thing, that is Khurshid Shah. Khurshid Shah played very crucial role in the GSL. So these two players really helped Rangpur.
I understand, Atif bhai. I think Rangpur has a very big fan base in Rangpur, around Bangladesh, around the world as well. But don't you think, like, if you have enough resources, you know that Russell, Vince, Tim David, they're all free. You wouldn't want to bring them? I mean,
No, I would like to bring them, but I won't like to bringing them in the morning and just giving them. If it was an evening game, then they would have slept. I think that Hetman played this innings because he could recover enough. Don't you agree? Because it's body. You are playing one match, you are getting into the plane, you are coming down, you are just have to play the game. You didn't even get even one session in the practice. So
because the wicket in Dubai and Dhaka are very different.
So if one session of practice could have helped them, there's a lot of things, cricketing things that didn't went their way. But for them, their argument was that we don't think that Russell, Tim David, they need practice.
These are the cricketing factors. We've had teams like
No. But this BPL does not end with cricketing factors. I mean, this BPL's.
So you have 3 other teams in the BPL.
I think we have one team and 6 other teams.
One team and 6 other teams. That one team is Durbar Rajshahi.
Yeah, exactly. And the 6 other teams are playing cricket. No, they played cricket.
So, Atif bhai, on a serious note, do you think that Durbar Rajshahi's actions during this BPL, off-field, they have forever tarnished the BPL and Bangladesh cricket?
Absolutely, Isham, absolutely. I just want to mention that you have wrote a piece. I'll be writing something in the future where World Cricket Association's chief executive told that it's not happening. And they have taken this World Cricket Association, as far as I understand, they have taken this very seriously on this time. With what happened with Durbar Rajshahi, I think that if they put up a sanction, that please don't go to this place, then I won't be surprised. Because these days, even Fortune Bhuishal's owner in one statement said that earlier people used to come, now they want advance. They don't believe us, recently. So Durbar Rajshahi has very successfully tarnished the image of BPL for good. It's not in the league anymore. It's not going to be compared in the franchise leagues anymore. Because you need to have players, but when players are insecure about their own payments, and they understand that franchise in that tournament, one franchise is not giving money, that also goes with other franchises as well. So Durbar Rajshahi, and what I feel is that owner, Mr. Shafiqur Rahman, it will be very sad for me to say this thing, but he's a perpetual liar.
Oh, of course he is. Definitely. I mean, in the morning he's saying to a player that I'll get you the money in the evening. I think from January 13th to 23, he told the players every day that the money is coming tomorrow. Now, if he's going to pay by February 10th, that means he has the money.
No, I don't think he can't.
Atif
He
bhai,
can.
I have some more questions for you. This is a very interesting thing that you said. He's a okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I've spoken with him, and he said that I don't know the deadline.
Which deadline?
February 10 deadline.
Oh wow, wonderful.
Then I said that what are you talking about? He said that it was an internal meeting with us and the law enforcers. I didn't think that it went into the public domain. Publicly, they have stated from the ministry. So when someone says these things, then you can't believe him.
Atif bhai, where did this person come into the BPL? Like, who brought him? Because we know that, to give a bit of background to our viewers, BPL teams usually come from certain circles. Sometimes they come from, no. As in, how do they get to BPL? So they need links to the BPL, to the BCB. So you had, just example, Nafisa Kamal's team, her father, AHM Mustafa Kamal, used to be the board president, so that there was that link. Rangpur Riders is Boshundhara's team. Boshundhara has a lot of sporting teams, franchises in Bangladesh cricket and football, so they do come in. And Fortune Borishal, I think Fortune Borishal came through Shakib at some point, or so everyone has a link. So how did Mr. Shafiqur Rahman end up here?
Isham, there's a lot of stories about his coming into the BPL. Let me tell you one side of the story. This team, BPL, Durbar Rajshahi scientist, was bought by 3 persons. Nawaz, a person called Nawaz. They had given the first bank payment of 1.5 crore. Nawaz, Amin Khan and Deepon. These 3 persons gave the first bank payment. The bank payment that we had to 1.5 crore. Then all of a sudden they were looking for a company, because BPL won't give it to me, you and anyone. They have to get to a company. Then according to one of the person of the trio, he told me that we went to that person and asked him that you don't have to do anything, you just give us your company's name and we will be playing the BPL. That moment it stuck to my mind, why a person will be interested in giving away his company's name without knowing it. And even Shafiqur Rahman also, to me, also acknowledged the fact that this was not his team. Those 3 people came to him and asked him that he wants to go. Then what happened is that those 3 people asked him that we won't, but on one condition, you cannot interfere on our working with the team. Then that player stuff happened, where they were picking all those very dubious characters cricketers. Yeah. Some of the players, huh? Yeah. Then Shafiqur Rahman's friends, and others, some of them, he must be having something, they asked him, what were you doing? Why were you buying these kinds of players and all these things? Have you gone nut? So my first question, then he started interfering in the team. Then he bought someone called Jayed, who, you've seen Jayed. And then Jayed and Shafiqur Rahman started to part ways with Amin Khan. I went to the team hotel on several occasions, and those 3 people were standing there, always guarding and all this time, because their money is stuck, those 1.5 crore. They are asking Shafiqur to pay back his money. Shafiqur interfered, and on why he interfered, I don't know. But there is a from his group that these 3 people wanted directorship from that Valentino group. So there's a lot of things. But my first question is that why would he be interested in coming to BPL without spending a single pie? Right. And all of a sudden, what made him so cricket maniac that he said that I will handle everything? Then there must be something others playing behind him. Because this Amin Khan and all these people, they are doing this for a long time. Even you remember the last time Dhaka Dominators, the same branch, set of group of players, group of management group, went to Dhaka Ramesh. Next year you will see another team with Amin Khan, Opi, and all those. That group will come. So Shafiqur Rahman at one stage claimed that he doesn't have any knowledge about cricket. So we should ask him then what brought you to cricket. And when you don't have any knowledge, why did you ask Amin and others not to interfere?
Atif bhai, thank you for your explainer, but I think what also viewers would like to know whether, do you think, two questions at the same time, do you think the BCB can maybe break their own laziness in taking these teams? And don't you think that 5 teams is enough in the BPL?
We can always say that BCB has failed miserably, and without doubt they have failed. But on the same note, I think we should also remember what made this board president take up this BPL. Our senior cricketers went there, and they told him that we would pay lesser money, but please, whatever we got, but please arrange this BPL. So when Tamim, Mushfiq and others Miraj going to him and asking him to launch this BPL, it was kind of a challenge for him just to make it happen. If there was no pressure for the players, then it would have been a different case altogether. There was no BPL this time. And I think that, Isam, if you agree, a competitive BPL is much better than a nonsense BPL.
Of course. No, look.
5 teams is enough for any BPL.
No, look, you're right. You're right. We need a better BPL than not having one at all, obviously. What I wanted to know was, do you think the BCB can take those steps? Now, I'm asking this because the board election is supposed to be around August to October.
Provided if you don't have an interim election.
Okay. But then national elections also have to be held to know which political power or whatever goes. I'm not saying too much into it, but that is also a huge factor. You need the districts and divisions to be sorted out, those committees. You need the clubs to be sorted out, and then Mr. Nazmul Abedin Fahim has proposed some changes which may not become that big, but there will be some changes, I'm sure. So given all of those things, do you think that BCB can take that step that we're not going to take past offenders, we're not going to make a lot of BPL teams, we're going to at least give the teams some money from the whatever revenue that the BCB is earning? You think, collectively, can they take some good decisions?
I think the biggest decision that BCB need to take, what Farooq Ahmed is thinking, is that he wants this BPL to be taken by an event management company, run by, because in PSL went into this proportion because it is run by an event manager. It's not run by BCB. True. Even the IPL is not run by BCCI. IMG took over and then. So if they can go for an event management company, it's better for them because then the branding will be totally dependent on the event management company. Yes, we must remember that first time it went to the event management company, Kastub and others.
Yes.
Yeah. They would not be making that mistake. But if the event manager comes into action, then they will try to make it sure that this is good, branded well. Because they will also have to earn money from it. Right. So this is one thing that they can do. The second thing is that all these elections and everything, BPL is not very much related with elections because their franchise owners are not councillors.
Shouldn't they be?
Of course they should be.
I think they should be board directors.
They should be, at least one should be.
I mean, say Mizanur Rahman, for example.
Yeah.
He spends 20 crore a year on players. Say a board director like, someone from Dhaka club, he spends how much? 5 lakh, 10 lakh maybe? Just to buy that club and that's it, end of story. So I think...
they can always... But what I'm saying is that when you have 5 teams, Isham, I think that we need to break this taboo that it's Rajshahi.
Doesn't matter. You're right.
It's not IPL. You think of Chennai, you think of Dhoni. Isn't it?
Fan recall. I mean, there has to be that recall value.
Yeah. You think of Mumbai, you think of Rohit.
Absolutely.
But can you say that BPL, is there any BPL team that you think of Rangpur, you think of one player?
Yeah. One player.
Shohan.
Shohan.
No.
Of course.
I'm just saying, man.
No. I understand. I understand. Of course.
So BPL need to be backed by. It's not the need to be backed by very good corporate houses. And I'm sure Bangladesh have a lot of big corporate houses who can run this show.
A lot of people are interested to buy.
Lot of people are interested, provided you have a go. You give them that. I've spoken with a couple of corporate houses, and they said that, look, we want to spend money, but we don't want a bad name attached with a competition that will bring us bad name.
Look, it's easy. No, I agree. And the other point is, I was speaking to one of the players. He owes money to Abu Dhabi T10, Sri Lanka T10, Zimbabwe T10. I was speaking to a lot of these foreign players. So I asked them, why aren't you making a big deal out of it? Why are you crying about BPL? He said, Isam, because they make it easy for us. How? So if that franchise fails, I'm pretty sure that that league organizer board, whichever board it is, they're going to pay me, or some company is going to pay me, whoever is in charge, like the event management company. So the way some of the BPL franchises, I've heard stories of BPL franchises misbehaving with their overseas players, accusing them of things that are, unbelievable. If it comes out in the UK media in the next couple of months, I'm not going to be surprised, Atif bhai. We might have to do some follow-ups there. So lastly, we will talk about Champions Trophy in our next episode, I'm sure. Just to exit this show with the BPL final just over 24 hours from now, you think the BCB president's box can sit calmly for one more day and then let this be over?
I just hope so.
Didn't start well, did it?
No, I just hope so, because, and this BPL will always remember for Rajul Abedin fine.
Oh, yeah. Like the other BPLs used to be known for Mr. Malik.
Yeah, I just hope that this ends well. Now, as far as I'm concerned, now all is cool in both ends, but after the BPL, a lot of things are going to change. And change very quickly. But from my point of view, they have. But at least for the first time, Isham, that is one thing I think that we should appreciate. At least once, a BCB president said that we have failed. I apologize.
True. Even Mahbub Alam.
Even Mahbub Alam said. So this is one good step. You should.
Yeah. Humility.
Humility say or you say anything, but at least they have understood that they have failed.
True.
But the biggest problem is, will they learn from this failure?
Right. On that note, we end today's show. Keep following cricket on Dailycricket.
We will be, before Bangladesh goes to the championship,
we'll do a few episodes before that. At least 2 we'll do. But what I wanted to say was, keep following on Dailycricket. Keep following on CrickBuzz, CrickInfo for all the latest happenings in Bangladesh cricket. From Dailycricket presents CrickTalk, it is Atif Azam and me, Mohammad Isam, signing off.